Stand by.
A beautiful morning to you. Welcome to today's broadcast of program on behalf of the board management and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service. And this is Morning Ride, Thursday's edition. On behalf of the crew, we welcome you to our world of information, education, and entertainment. My name is Lilibeth Ugochukwu, and I have with me here the beautiful, sexy damsel, Perpetua Iboba. Good morning, Perpetua.
Good morning, Lilibeth. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, I'm beautiful, I'm well, I'm fine, thank God.
That's great.
You thought I was going to call you something else. When I wanted to say the S part, and you give me that eye.
I was like Lilibeth, we're on air. That was what my mind was saying.
At least allow me to tell you, you know what I want to tell you. I wanted to say slim, dark beauty, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel flattered, but
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so what has been popping around your corner these past few days? Today is Thursday. We are kissing the weekend very soon. What have been popping? What have been happening all through the week from Sunday till today, or till rather yesterday?
A lot has been happening, but the one that has been very, very visible, not just with me, but everybody can also agree, is the rising cost in the price of food, or rather goods and services. That's what has been really, really outstanding. Negative though, but it's been outstanding. It's been affecting cost of living, livelihood, and all of that. So that has been the major outstanding factor throughout.
Yes, but even while you tag that as the major factor that has been affecting Nigerians, people are still looking for one way or the other to come out strong, yeah?
Exactly, that's why we are resilient.
Yes, Nigerians actually know how to adjust. Someone said it that Nigerians, you can never take it away from them. No matter how it is, they will always adjust.
But in as much
On
as
Sundays, go to where they sell chicken. You will see crowd there buying chicken, and there's nobody. There's no how. People will still feed.
Exactly.
Although those that it's biting hard on, they are on one side. But those that have it, they have enough. They have it in surplus. They are on the other side, and I'm sure that they're going to lend a helping hand to those who cannot afford it. So
That's
no
the
matter
prayer,
how it is,
basically.
but still coming out strong. Yes. Okay, so this morning we're going to start with our national celebrations before we get to the business of the day, trendy issues. Let's look at our national celebration. Sometimes they are very funny because when you celebrate food, you ask yourself, how are we celebrating food? But it is very important.
We should celebrate food.
Yes.
It's one of the basic necessities. It should be celebrated, actually. Yeah.
So, well, today is the National Day of Praise and Worship. When I came across this day, I asked myself, what are we not going to celebrate nationwide? What exactly? In fact, we celebrate everything. Everything, even the air we breathe, the hair, the clothes, we celebrate just everything. Now, you can imagine celebrating a day as National Praise and Worship. Now, let's take a look at it. It says September 26th is dedicated to praise and worship, which is an important aspect of Christianity. It is very, very important that you pray and you praise and you worship. The Bible also told us that he that sings well prays twice. So you can never take praise and worship away from Christianity. They always start, whatever they do in churches, they always start with praise and worship. Now let's take a little history of this National Day of Praise and Worship. How did it come into existence?
Right.
The Christian worship music, CWM, often known as praise and worship music, is a designated genre of Christian music used in modern worship. Now, with worship anthems based on modern melodies, the Thais community in France began to draw teenagers from various religious dominations in the early 1950s. Christian unions in university settings offered evangelical speeches and provided biblical education for their members by the mid-20th century. Now, Christian cafes with evangelistic goals opened and church youth clubs were formed. That's just how it started, just bringing children together and then forming a club. Now, this National Day of Praise and Worship is commemorated every September 26th by Christians around the United States. On this day, praise and worship songs are sung. Derek Wallace established this day in the year 2020.
Okay.
Christian worship and praise are essential to the faith. And on this day, people worship God in whatever way they can, whether by singing worship songs, painting a picture, or playing an instrument. They use whatever talent God has given them to praise and worship Him.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. As Christians that we are, it is very, very important that we pray, we praise, and we worship. It's very important. That's just the beginning of every fellowship, praise and worship. I remember those years when I was still little. I used to lead praise and worship. When they say, who will lead us in praise and worship, my hands would just fly up. That was how I started singing. And then when I grew older, I joined the choir. I became a chorister. And then later I became the assistant choir mistress. It was beautiful. No, to worship is nice. It's very good. I love it when you lift up holy hands.
Apart from lifting holy hands in the art of worship, it also takes you to another realm, as a friend of mine will put it. Even if you have the world's problem on your shoulder, it transports you to another realm where at that moment, at that time, your problems do not matter, your worries do not matter. You just want to have this one-on-one connection with the Creator based on your belief system or creed. So praise is beautiful, worship is beautiful. At that point, we even experience God's blessings, even in the midst of the problem, even in the midst of the difficulty, while we are praising and worshiping. So it's very, very important.
Yes, that's one essential thing in life. All right, so another celebration is Love Note Day. Love Note Day. It says, grab a pen and paper and get ready to celebrate someone special this Love Note Day. So is there any special person in your life? Today is the day. Peppy's eye is going off. She's thinking, is there someone special in my life?
I'm not thinking. I know. I have.
No, it mustn't be the opposite.
Exactly.
Sex,
I've got
so,
lots of special people in my life.
Okay.
I have lots of special people in my life.
Okay.
Honestly.
So today is actually a day to celebrate them. So when you leave here, all you have to do is just get a pen and a paper and then write it down. Just tell the person how you feel. Tell the person, in fact, express yourself in that paper and give to the person. Just a very little tiny piece of paper. Write whatever you feel and then give it to the person.
And I like this trend, Lilibeth, most especially it happens among married couples. And I tell myself, when I finally tie the nuptial knot, I would really love it. Rather than us, communicating via phone. I think it's quite beautiful where you leave this little sticky notes, at places you could find them. Like, okay, I didn't want to disturb you, so I thought to, make breakfast for you. It's in the microwave, something like that.
Oh my
Love you, Zozo. And, it's very, very beautiful.
I'm already falling in love.
Apart from that, you could even leave love notes for your siblings, if you live with your siblings or even your parents. The key is there, just little acts. I think it's this little act of, writing notes and expressing yourself. It's the simple things, actually, Lilibeth, that matters.
Yeah, very simple.
Very simple things that matter.
Even a text message is also very simple.
Very simple things. You don't have to go overboard or overstress yourself or overdo it. It's in the simple things, honestly. That's what I've noticed. Yeah.
I think I'm going to learn that. Just write just a text message. One line, it's okay.
It's beautiful.
Hey honey, just want to check up on you. Hope you're doing okay.
Beautiful.
Have a beautiful day.
Honestly.
It will go a long way, like you said.
It will.
Alright, so another celebration is Better Breakfast Day. It says, wake up. Let's make the most of our morning. Make a very beautiful breakfast for yourself and for your folks this morning, especially for yourself. Some persons skip breakfast. Some person make one kind of breakfast I don't understand. Some, they eat heavy food and call it breakfast. But today it is saying just make something simple, something nice, and have breakfast. Okay? Now it brings me to something I did yesterday.
Okay. What did you do?
I woke up in the morning. I wish yesterday was make a breakfast for yourself. You would have tallied. I would have been glad that at least I did it. So I woke up yesterday and I saw something. I saw a video rather on the net, on Pinterest.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw a video how someone was making sandwich. It's a sandwich or bread toast. I don't know what to call it, but the person just wrote, "How do you make your breakfast? You know, with bread." This is another way you can make a special breakfast. That was what was written on the video. And so when I saw all the person was doing, it was very simple and it was nice. And I told myself, this thing is going to actually taste real good. And then I went to the market 2 days back and I bought all the ingredients. And yesterday morning I woke up. It's still on my status, so you can go view. I woke up yesterday and I made one very sumptuous breakfast. I made exactly what I saw on the net.
Awesome.
Now, you know, sometimes going to social media, you know, it's actually nice. You see things that you don't have an idea they exist. You see, you learn how to make things, you learn how to make food.
It's a learning
now there's
platform.
this headband. I saw how it was made. Very simple. Very, very simple. You can make it yourself. I told myself, so this is how they make these things. Very simple with your thread and your needle, you're good to go. And so I made this breakfast and it was nice. Just veggies and then the bread. You just, you toast the bread on the pan and then use butter. And I learned another thing, that I shouldn't use vegetable oil to fry my egg.
Oh.
Rather, I should use butter. There's this low cholesterol butter. I'm not going to make mention of the name, but if you go to the market, you will see it. So I don't advertise their brand, but it's very, very nice. You know, I just use it to make my egg. I chopped the veggies. I whisked it with Friday. I toasted my bread, put it inside. And when I posted it, come and see calls. People were calling me, Lilibet, are you home? I am coming for breakfast. I just accepted 2 persons to come, and the others, I said, no, please don't come. I am not in the house. I have left the house, you know. So it was that nice. It was that nice. So you can do something like that too. In the morning, you can just try something new, something nice, you know. Let's breakfast be ready before your folks wake up.
Exactly. Notwithstanding the hustle and bustle of the day, you know, trying to leave the house to make ends meet and trying to make a living, just make sure you just have something simple. It doesn't have to be. That's why it's called breakfast in the first place. It doesn't have to be complicated. Very, very simple. As long as you have something as little as it is before you head out. Very, very important.
Yeah, that's true. You just said it. That's why it's called breakfast.
Exactly.
Break your fast. You know, the fast is throughout the night, you didn't eat anything. So in the morning when you wake up, you just break the fast. That's exactly what breakfast means, and it has to be light. Now, you know, sometimes when people fast, when they want to break their fast, they are advised to take something light, maybe like fruit, water, you know, just to soften the tummy before they can go in with heavy food. So that's why it's called breakfast.
True.
So another celebration is the National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day. Do not miss celebrating National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day this September 26th. And we know what suicide is. Someone trying to commit suicide, or someone trying to kill himself or herself because of maybe frustration, depression, or what have you. There are so many reasons why people just want to kill themselves. So today is an awareness day. You know, it brings us to the awareness that there are people out there that actually want to commit suicide. So if you come across any of them, please do well to talk them out of it. I came across a viral video where a woman was standing at the bridge top. That happened in Warri. Yeah, okay. In Warri. She was standing at the bridge top. And people were just filming her. They were just filming her. I didn't see anybody try walking to her on that bridge top where she was standing to try and, you know, hold her or talk to her.
Give her
you know, sometimes in the Western world, when you see these things, you see the police officers, you see people trying to talk those
around
people. Yeah, you know, to try to talk them out of it, you know, don't kill yourself, just give me your hand. They tell you beautiful things, and before you know, whatever is going through your head just begins to calm down. But in this case, nobody was talking to the woman. They let her be. In fact, they captured her from when she was falling from up till she landed on the floor, hit her head, and she died. That's how bad.
Lilibet, I've also...
Nobody could just go to talk to her or try and make a base where she will land, you know, so she lands on something, not to
On
hurt
something.
herself. They watched her kill herself.
I think it's apart from you know, talking to people who you know are depressed. I've come to realize that it's in the brightest of smiles that lies the loneliest of hearts. So there are many people that are, you know, planning to take their own lives, like commit suicide, but they're never going to let you know, because they are very, very good at covering the problems they go through. They are very, very good at, you know, covering or not wanting to talk about their predicaments because they feel like a burden to people around them. So it's not in the face. It's not written in the face. In general, as a human being, when you come across people around you, be nice.
Yes.
It doesn't take anything. It doesn't add or subtract from your bank account. Be nice, be cautious, talk with grace, talk with elegance, but at the same time, you know, be humble. Be humble. If you find out that someone is suicidal, it's not out of place to give the person psychosocial support. Try to talk that person out of it. Try to, you know, understand from that person's perspective. Yes, first of all, do not judge. Try to understand from that person's perspective, and then make a conscious decision to talk that person out of that suicidal decision he or she has made, basically.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much, Pepe, for that. And now let's take a look at what it says. It says National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day is observed on September 26 every year. This day brings attention to the tragedy of suicide. Furthermore, it aims to promote open dialogue regarding law enforcement officers' mental health and continue to dispel the stigma of getting help. The Blue, HELP, created National Law Enforcement Suicide Awareness Day in 2020 to recognize the issue, support the families, provide solutions, respect those who have died, and continue to raise awareness to end suicide. We must assure everyone that they are not alone. Yes, they are not alone. So please, if you see anybody going through depression or someone that's been happy, that is so hyper, and all of a sudden the person begins to withdraw or grow sober, all you have to do is ask questions. They might not be willing to talk, but if you go deeper, if you give them a shoulder, you know, if they know that, yes, this person is actually there for me, this person actually cares for me, I'm sure they will open up to say something.
Lilibeth, apart from that, check on your hyper happy friends.
Yeah.
Those who are hyper happy, because lots of suicidal cases that people have seen, they find out that these people have been happy, you know, they've been smiling, and all of a sudden you come and hear this person has taken his or her own life. So check on your friends, check on your loved ones, check on your family. If you find out that someone is hyper happy, you know, on the extreme, I think it's time you take a very, very close look at that person. That person may be battling depression and doing his or her utmost to cover it up. So in general, just check on those you love and those around you.
That's true. Okay, moving on, we have the National Pancake Day. I told you we celebrate food a lot on national days.
I'm blushing.
So get those hot pancakes,
I love pancakes,
and on the griddle. It's time to prepare some pancakes. So if you love pancake, please do well to go grab one and make this morning. If you make it today, you are celebrating that meal. You know, when we talked about breakfast, you can also have pancakes as breakfast. They are light.
True.
They are very light. Make it very, very nice. Don't add too much sugar. I know some kids, if you don't sprinkle sugar on their pancake, they're not going to eat. I remember when I used to make pancake, I must sprinkle sugar on it. But now we know that sugar, too much intake of sugar is not actually good. But for the children, it is good. So for you, the adults, please reduce on your sugar intake and enjoy that pancake this beautiful morning. Okay, we have the National Situational Awareness Day. National Situation Awareness Day, and it says this day comes up on September 26 every year. The holiday helps create more awareness about the importance of personal safety. Since we all are responsible for our personal safety most of the time, it is important to be reminded of general safety tips. And so, National Situational Awareness Day was created for this purpose. Yes. So we have to understand that safety is key. Safety is key. You have to be aware of your personal safety. It is very important to stay safe, to stay healthy, and also look out for people around you. Make sure that they are staying safe. That's on personal safety.
Apart from that, I think we've gone past the era of you just because you stay on your own, you go out and you don't owe anybody an explanation. The times we find ourselves in is the time where you have to tell one or two close persons where you are going, and you have to be honest with them about your whereabouts, because the times we find ourselves in are alarming. You don't just stand up and leave. There's been cases of missing people without traces of where they are, where they've been, where they went to. So before you leave your house, before you travel, before you embark on that trip to see that special person in your life, at least tell one or two close people around you, so that if the unimaginable begins to happen, someone can help raise an alarm about your whereabouts. If possible, you can send location to people you trust. I'm on a date with this person, I went out to do this, I went to get that, this is where I am presently, so that if the unimaginable, God forbid, we don't pray for that, but if the unimaginable happens, someone will be able to come out to say, this was where he or she told me he went to. This was the location he or she sent to me. It's very, very important that we don't take our personal safety for granted, because it is very, very pivotal and important to all of us.
Yeah, you're right. It's important to all of us. And so on that note, we have come to the end of our national celebration for today, being the 26th day in the month of September. Moving forward, let's look at trendy issues. And now there's this issue that is trending online about Falana and the Very Dark Man. I don't know what's going on between. In fact, Very Dark Man, sometimes when I come across his videos, I ask myself, what is giving this guy this motivation? He talks as if the way he brings out things, he gives people ultimatum to reverse whatever they have done or whatever they have said, and so on and so forth. In fact, when I came across this write-up, I was just asking myself, what exactly does he hope to achieve? Because I personally, I don't think bringing out people or dragging people on social media is my thing. It's really not my thing. I don't know. But sometimes when I see people do it, the only question I ask myself is, what actually do you want to achieve? What if you drag trouble to yourself? So let's look at what Falana told Falz. Now, popularly known as Falz, the son of a renowned human rights lawyer, Femi Falana's son. He has given social media influencer Very Dark Man a 24-hour ultimatum to retract alleged defamatory statements made against him. Now, the ultimatum was issued through a letter from Falana and Falana Chambers demanding an immediate retraction and apology for the claims made in a 25th September 2024 post on Instagram. Now, the post accused Falana of attempting to secure a presidential pardon for Bobrisky in exchange for 10 million naira. That was what Very Dark Man said about Falz. He accused Falana of attempting to secure a presidential pardon for Bobrisky in exchange for 10 million naira. Now, according to the letter, the defamatory remarks were made in a September 25, 2024 post on Very Dark Man's Instagram page, which suggested that Femi Falana and son, Falari Falana, which is Falz, were involved in a controversial matter regarding popular Nigerian cross-dresser Bobrisky. Now, the post alleged that Falana spoke to Bobrisky in an attempt to divert justice and secure a presidential pardon for the sum of 10 million naira. It emphasized that Mr. Falana has never communicated with Bobrisky regarding any matter, let alone sought a presidential pardon for the cross-dresser. And now the letter strongly refuted these accusations, noting that the statements were false, misleading, and defamatory, and sought to mispresent Falana's lifelong fight against injustice and corruption. Now, Falana and Falana Chambers made it clear that while Very Dark Man is entitled to his rights to freedom of expression under the Nigerian Constitution, he also has a duty to ensure that any claims he publishes are factual. Now, the Chambers demand an immediate retraction of the defamatory statement and a public apology to be published across all platforms where the false information was disseminated. Should the retraction and apology not be issued within 24 hours, the Chambers indicated it would pursue legal action, including claims for monetary damages. The letter concluded by advising the recipient to address the issue urgently to avoid further legal consequences.
Oh, wow.
Now, Very Dark Man is being asked to bring down that statement, defamatory statement, on all the platform he posted it to, and also send an apology letter.
Right.
But you know, anything that has been said, words that have gone out, has gone out.
You see, that's...
He has said it and he has said it. So even if he sends an apology letter, it will still stick on some person's head that, oh, this actually did happen or did not happen, or this was said.
Apart from sticking, the internet never forgets.
Never forgets.
Well, the problem we have is that since everybody has become a content creator, it's not all about taking a ring light and beginning to create a content in the four corners of your bedroom. Before you create content as very, very sensitive as this, the question is, do I have my facts? Do I have documents to back this? Do I have recordings? Do I have voice notes? Do I have text messages? Do I have chats? Do I have screenshots? You know, these are the questions you should ask. You don't come out to make accusations like this without having a very, very strong evidence to back your claim.
Yes.
Now, a Very Dark Man came out yesterday to make all these accusations via, you know, an IG live video, and in response to that, Falz did not say anything. You know, Falz did not come on air to say anything like a live video. His father did not come on air, online to say anything.
They just went
hours later,
the legal
they
way.
just served him a document to make a retraction. Now, if he doesn't have evidence to back his claim, it's either he make that retraction or he would be dragged to court.
And he will present evidence if he has.
Exactly. But my happiness is that either way, lessons will be definitely learned from this, you know. Lessons will be learned that before you say something, you should have your evidence, and not just having evidence, but then having the right evidence to back your claim. So however it is, lessons will be learned, and I think that Nigerians will take a cue from this big issue to, you know, put themselves too in check. This is not just about Falana and Bobrisky and his father and Very Dark Man. This is also a lesson to all of us, you know. Before you say something, have your facts right. Before you say something, have them checked, so that when you're called upon to defend what you say, you have the right amount of evidence to back your claim.
So, like we said, now, any word that has gone out has gone to either the wrong ear or the right ear.
The internet never forgets.
Now, this word that went out now, this Bobrisky saga now, the Interior Minister orders a probe of bribery claim in Correctional Center.
Okay.
Yes, this is another one now. So let's see the story. The Minister of Interior, that's Honorable Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, has ordered a comprehensive investigation into bribery allegations within the Nigerian Correctional Service. The directive came after Very Dark Man, the activist, shared a video online wherein Bobrisky claimed he bribed some economic and financial crimes Commission, EFCC officials with 15 million naira to drop the money laundering charges against her. Now, the cross-dresser, whose birth name is Idris Okuneye, was released from prison on 5th August after he was sentenced to 6 months on April 12 for abusing the naira. But in the footage, the cross-dresser claimed her godfather, alongside Aliru Nababa, the Comptroller General of the NCOS, ensured she served the 6-month sentence in a private apartment and not the prison. This was what Bobrisky said. Now, this is exactly how she said it. She said, on my way to prison, my godfather called and assured me I wouldn't enter prison. He told me not to worry and said he would arrange an apartment near the prison and speak to the Controller General of Prisons in Abuja. She had said this in a viral clip.
Okay.
Bobrisky would later deny the bribery claim, arguing that the viral recording was fake. The social media celebrity also insisted that she served his term in prison. Now, the cross-dresser's denial came after the EFCC invited her and Very Dark Man over bribery allegations against its officials. Now, in a statement released yesterday by Alao Babatunde, his media aide, the Interior Minister condemned the alleged behavior of the NCOS. Tunji Ojo also vowed to ensure that those found culpable face the full wrath of the law. Now, the Minister of Interior has directed an unconditional and comprehensive investigation into the allegations of bribery and corruption within the Nigerian Correctional Service. The ministry will not tolerate any compromise on its core values of integrity, transparency, and accountability. So, the minister reassures the public that the investigation will be rigorous, transparent, and impartial, and that appropriate disciplinary actions will be taken against any personnel found guilty. That was what the minister said. Now, I saw a clip of a man. I think he lives abroad or so. I don't know. I think he's not based here. The internet said he was actually the person that exposed that conversation. Like, he had a conversation with Bobrisky, and then that was when Bobrisky was telling him that stuff. Like, they posted the man's picture on the net, so that was how that news actually leaked out. But now we don't know if they are right or they are wrong, that Bobrisky actually stayed in an apartment for the whole 6 months and not in the prison. Because some persons are actually saying that when Bobrisky came out, it was looking very fresh. Very, very fresh. And in fact, he held a party, or his friends rather, held a party. They threw a party for him immediately he came out. And he was bouncing like he never went to prison. So if you actually stayed in a correctional center for 6 months, according to reports, if you actually stayed in a correctional center for 6 months, it will definitely tell on you. Because number one, the kind of water, or probably the food, the mosquito bites and all that you have in those places will actually affect your skin. You definitely will not remain the same.
I have a question
to
ask.
Yeah, let me drop.
Okay.
No, but he went and came out, and he was still shining, and he was happy. Some persons would believe that when he comes out, he will at least pipe low a while, go low a while, at least reflect on himself if he wants to go back to being the person he was created, the way he was created, or he wants to continue on that line. But he shocked Nigerians by coming out and throwing, in fact,
a very big
party in a yacht. And apart from that, another celebration again. In fact, he has just been everywhere celebrating. And people were like, is this the same person that went to prison? He's coming out and he's doing us, big eyes. Like, what were you expecting to see? Look at me, I am strong, I am okay, I'm bouncing. That's all. So most Nigerians are not happy, in quotes, especially those that don't like the fact that he cross-dressed. Most Nigerians are happy. They were expecting something else, In fact, so many persons were waiting for Bobrisky to come out that day. They knew he was going to come out that day. So many persons were waiting. Lo and behold, when he came out, it was something else. He shocked Nigerians. So that's why I'm sure people are really going to drag this particular issue down, that he didn't actually stay in the prison.
A whole lot of things are involved in this issue. First,
Yes.
Bobrisky had a conversation with someone where he told him all of this, where he was alleged to have said a whole lot of things, that he didn't actually stay in the correctional center, that he paid his way through to stay in a private apartment for 6 months and all of that. My question is, what did the person who exposed Bobrisky hope to achieve by
achieve.
all this saga? Now, like I said earlier,
And the person is supposed to be his friend.
Lilibeth, like I said earlier, lessons will be learned, and I'm sure that everybody is taking lessons from this. You know,
That you trust no one.
you've got to be mindful about people you divulge personal information to. You know, my friend, the question is, does that person see you the way you see him or her? Now, if Bobrisky had just shut up, maybe this wouldn't have come up. But like I said earlier, lessons will be learnt, and I'm sure that those who have ears and those who have eyes are learning a lot from all of this. Now, moving to the issue of the correctional service. Apart from them investigating this issue, I think that is a moment of introspection for them. If an accusation comes up, they should investigate it, and they should make sure that, you know, things are in check in their administration and in what they do in their department. That's the correctional service. You know, if they take bribe, what they do, their modus operandi, and all of that. It is time for them to look at themselves and know what they are doing. If an accusation like this comes, it should be backed with evidence. It should be backed with the right amount of proof. You know, if there are documents, if there are screenshots recorded, it should be brought before the force so that they would know how to start nipping a whole lot of things that are not right in their part in the board. Yes, so basically that is just it. Then in the part of a very dark man, like I said earlier, you know, lessons will be learned, and many people have started learning lessons. You know, as long as he has documents and facts to back it up, he should bring it. If not, he should tender an unreserved apology that will definitely be published, or else he'll be dragged to court, basically.
Well, we Nigerians are sitting and we are waiting for the aftermath of that story. We want to see the end of that story, and we'll definitely bring it to your doorstep. We'll go on a very quick break. When we come back, it will be time to look at the dailies. Stay with us.
first news, that first kick, that first cry, and those first moments put baby to mother's breast right away. That first yellowish milk, colostrum, has the nutrients baby needs to grow healthy, strong, and sharp. Ask your health worker to put your baby to the breast within the first hour.
Start strong. Zero water exclusive breastfeeding for better future.
This message is from the Delta State Committee on Food and Nutrition and the Delta State Ministry of Information.
My people, una know say to chop plenty fruit and vegetable every time dey help person live long. You no go fit see anything when they give good nutrition when boku pass fruit and vegetable. Fruits and vegetables get plenty vitamins like vitamin A, B, C, and E, and other minerals like magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, potassium, and folic acid. You see, food when contain vegetables and fruit, they help lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke, prevent some kind cancer, help lower cholesterol level and blood pressure, remove yamayama from your system, protect you from digestion wahala and high problem, come make your skin dey shine muke muke. E good to eat fruits and vegetables every day, and if you even get blender, you fit blend different fruit when you like together to make sweet drink when oyibo dey call smoothie.
Now the Delta State Committee of Food and Nutrition and Delta State Ministry of Information now bring una this message.
It's hot. It's something new. It's Event 360. Are you a minister of the gospel, a scope proprietor, a producer, corporate body, a financial institution, small and medium enterprise, NGO, or are you interested in owning a business of your own and running it successfully? Then join us on Event 360 every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Delta Television, channels 25, 41, and Star Times on channel 115. Event 360 is designed to showcase your social events as well as to advertise your goods, services, and ideas from Monday to Friday, with presentation on Sunday at 7 p.m. For sponsorship, event coverage, and participation, please call Tony on 0803 406 4079. Grace on 0806 974 8133. Event 360, a platform for all-round participation. Join us.
Welcome back. Still on Thursday's edition of Morning Ride. It's time to look at the papers. Let's see what is trendy online. Our first paper for review is the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust, and it says, hardship. Civil servants go to work twice a week. Civil servants go to work twice a week. And the writer says, even feeding is difficult. Only Lagos, Ogun, Osun approve of days. We pretend we don't know what's happening, says director. And then an analyst says it will lead to low productivity. And of course, when you don't go to work, what do you expect? Low productivity, sure. All right, that's it on hardship. GO Cares, Gombe empowers 573,439 farmers, entrepreneurs, vulnerable people. And our details on page 7. MSMEs can't survive on current interest rates. And this is credited to Fidelity Bank MD. We also have why Tinubu can't intervene in Dangote NNPCL fuel price feud. And that's on the presidency. Details on page 12. Publish your investigation report. Discharge female soldiers, tells Army. Okay. Publish your investigation report. Discharged female soldiers, tells Army. Okay, and that's on the military zone. Details on page 12. And on page 8, we have the Bobrisky saga. FG probes allegation against prison CG. On page 8, we have 2009 agreement salaries. ASU gives FG 14-day ultimatum. And on page 32, we have Kekere Ekun confirmed as CJN, vows not to condone corruption. And that's it on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, looking at the Punch newspaper this morning, the major story here says Tinubu demands 46 ministers fresh scorecard as lobby begins. Cabinet reshake will be based on ministers' performance. This one is coming from the presidency. And political bigwigs, minister intensify lobbying. Now, all of this you can find on page 2. At the top strip of the Punch newspaper this morning, it says Dangote Refinery, marketers plan direct petrol purchase. You can find this on page 10. Government mills 30% TED fund allocation for student loan on page 13. And federal government proposes NIN and tax for foreigners. You can also find this on page 13. And at the bottom strip of the Punch newspaper, it says Kekere Ekun warns judges against corruption after Senate confirmation. This is on page 12. All right, Bobrisky, minister orders alleged bribery probe, and Falana plans suit. You can find this on page 7. And lastly, Edo poll marred by vote buying and delay. This one is coming from NBA Observers on page 30.
That's it on the Punch newspaper. Guardian is our next paper for review. Shake up. 11 ministers, senior official may go as Tinubu reshuffles cabinet. Details on page 6. And then we have a photo speak there. Court restrains PDP governors, NWC, BOT, others from dissolving pro-Wike ESCOs in Rivers. Details on page 7. On page 8, disclosed details of investigation. Dismissed female soldier challenges army. And on page 5, we have the Bobrisky saga, FG probes of Bobrisky scandal in NCOS EFCC. On page 3, after confirmation by Senate, CJN vows to sanitize judiciary. Page 3 also has Bello claims vendetta as EFCC slams 110 billion naira in fresh fraud charges. Bello claims vendetta as EFCC slams 110 billion naira in fresh fraud charges. FG denies interference in petrol pump price roll, and that's on page 4. Grab a copy of The Guardian to go through all the stories.
All right, the next newspaper is the New Telegraph newspaper, and the major story here says presidency, federal government won't intervene in NNPC Limited, Dangote Refinery fuel pricing controversy, confirms imminent cabinet reshuffle, oil theft, NNPC Limited and others uncover 161 illegal refineries and pipelines. You can find these stories on page 3 and page 8. Now at the bottom strip it says Reps LP caucus observers reject Edo Guba result. Anger 79. Tinubu urges world leaders to recommit to multilateralism. Court bars PDP governors and others from dissolving pro-Wike ESCOs in Rivers. Alleged money laundering. Court adjourns to October 30 as Yahaya Bello heads to Supreme Court. Newly confirmed CJN kicks against corruption. Frivolous orders by judicial officers. Wants pre-election cases to terminate at appeal court. Why Nigeria can't retain her medical personnel by visas, saying NAS legislation won't work. Yoga and other exercises can curb urinary incontinence. This one is coming from a study. Now, at the top strip, still looking at the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, it says, Maiduguri flood. Sultan urges the federal government to access state of dams nationwide. Constitution, anti-democratic forces regrouping to derail National Assembly. Now, this one is coming from Clark. Alleged bribery. Federal government orders correctional service officials probe. And lastly, looking at the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, it says, Senate to federal government immortalize Iwanyanwu with national monument.
That's it on the New Telegraph. The Vanguard is our next paper for review. The top story says, panic in 11 states as release of water from Lagdo Dam begins. Details on page 5. The writer says, states activate measures to mitigate impact of flooding, set up IDPs camp. Confusion tales of hardship as relocation order comes into effect as some communities refuse to obey. Alright, there's a photo speak there at the launch of Her Money, Her Power, and that's Funke Akindele, the actress, and also the founder, ACEU at Bello Niger, Uche Predro. Right on page 6, we have Bobrisky in trouble again for allegedly bribing EFCC officials with 15 million naira. Cabinet rejigged to be based on ministers' performance. And that's on presidency. Cabinet rejigged to be based on ministers' performance. We have on page 10, Catholic Church to Tinubu speak out on fuel price controversy. FG raises NYC members' allowance by 133% to 77,000 naira, and that's on page 32. Tinubu won't interfere in Dangote NNPCL fuel price feud, and that story is coming from the presidency. Details on page 37. Hashtag End Bad Governance October 1 protest. Organizers propose virtual meeting with police. As rights groups take protests to Vanguard, seek release of detained protesters. And that's on page 8. 25 observer groups thumbed down Edo election. Rider says Labour Party was rigged out. That's according to the Reps Caucus. Igbenedion Okojuwa, Obasanjo's ex-aide, hailed Governor-elect Okpebolo. All right, that's it on the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, taking a quick look at the Daily Times newspaper this morning, the major story here says Africa's role as raw minerals supplier solidifying its misery. This one is coming from Tinubu. Says extracting raw materials, or rather raw minerals, without processing locally deepens continent's underdevelopment. You can find this on page 2. Now at the top strip, it says, I won't tolerate corrupt judicial officers, frivolous ex-party, others, and others. This one is coming from Acting CJN. Court restrains PDP governors, NWC, BOT, and others from dissolving pro-Wike PDP ESCO in Rivers. Now you can find this on page 6. Presidency. Federal government won't interfere in NNPCL and Dangote gasoline price battle. Also found on page 6. This one here says, abandoned projects. ICPC returns over 500 contractors to site. You can also find this on page 6. Now at the bottom strip, it says, ASU gives a 14-day ultimatum to federal government over unresolved issues. Says it shouldn't be held responsible for any industrial action that might result from government's failure to meet new deadline. And the last story right here on the Daily Times newspaper is good news for core members as the federal government increases their allowance to 77,000 naira.
All right, yes, it's been increased to 77,000 naira. That's what the papers say. And some persons are raising eyebrow. Oh, Wage salary 70 and NYC are receiving 77.
I have nothing to say. Let's go ahead.
We have nothing to
Let's
say
forge
about
ahead.
that. Okay, so the Nigerian Tribune is our next paper for review, and it says fuel price. Tinubu won't intervene in Dangote NNPCL TIF, and that's according to the presidency. Page 3. Rider says confirms cabinet reshuffle imminent. Says 30% TED fund. Resource will go to students loan support. Unveils plans to introduce NIN registration for foreigners. Okay. All right, we'll move ahead. Court bars PDP governors, NWC, BOT from dissolving pro-Wike party ESCO in Rivers. Details on page 4. And on page 15, we have the Bobrisky saga. FG orders thorough investigation into alleged bribery in correctional service. Okay, we have here NBA wants AGF, NSA to conduct independent probe. I have never ever spoken to Bobrisky, says Falana. Files issues 24-hour ultimatum to very dark man over allegation. All right, another story here. FG increases core members' allowances to 77,000 naira. Details on page 22. On page 13, we have the non-policy cases should terminate at Apex Court, and that's according to the CJM. Katsina government prohibits farming on cattle routes, and that's on page 13. Page 11 has it on Borno flood. Reps reject proposal to remove 300 billion naira from Federation accounts. And on page 6, we have FG proposes tax relief to companies for employment retention of employees for 3 years. Okay, we have page 1, how tension with Ladoja over Olubadan ascension was dealt with. And that's according to Makinde. Details on page 3. CBN to sell $20,000 to BDCs at 159 per dollar. Okay, at 1,590 naira per dollar. And on page 10, we have ASUSEP's FG fresh 14-day nationwide strike notice. And that's it on the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, the major story right here on the Daily Independent newspaper says, anxiety grows among ministers as presidency confirms looming sack. Says federal government to use TED funds allocation to fund student loans. Won't intervene in NNPCL and Dangote refinery petrol price war. Now, still looking at the Daily Independent newspaper, the top strip here says federal government targets $1.5 billion FDI in 4 years from tourism. Corruption has undermined Nigeria's education sector. This one is coming from the ICPC. Now we're taking a quick look at the bottom strip of the Daily Independent newspaper right here. It says, I'll punish judges who give unnecessary ex parte orders. This one is coming from the CJN. ABGA chairman vows to suspend Soludo and others from the party. Alleged money laundering. Court adjourns to October 30 as Yahaya Bello heads to the Supreme Court. ASU gives the federal government 14 days to resolve lingering issues and warns of strike. Reps to focus on security and socio-economic challenges facing Nigerians. Court bars PDP from sacking Rivers pro-Wike-led executives. And analysts see bleak outlook for Naira and ask the Central Bank of Nigeria to defend it. And lastly, looking at the Daily Independent newspaper, it says Bobrisky, the federal government probes allegation against prison CG.
Okay, that's on the Bobrisky saga. So those are all the details or all the headlines we have on today's paper. You can just grab a copy and go through the main details We'll go on a very quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for our next sport. Right, sure, welcome back. Still in Thursday's edition of your Top Flight television program, Morning Ride. It is time for our guest sport. And on this beautiful morning, we have right here with us Ambassador S.C. Joshua Emadifie, aka Chief Sir Dante. Good morning, sir, and good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning for having me.
Yes, and Ambassador S.A. Joshua Emadifie is the senior special assistant to the governor of Delta State on media and the DG of an ongoing project tagged Connecting with Vulnerable Deltans through traditional and modern media channels. And that's basically what we're going to be looking at this morning, connecting with vulnerable Deltans through traditional and modern media channels. But first and foremost, Sir Dante, when you say the vulnerable, who are these persons you refer to as the vulnerable?
Thank you very much for that question. Now, for me, the vulnerable Deltans are those people who have probably lost hope in the system. People who feel they're no longer included in what's happening in the state. And like the topic says, or rather my project says, through traditional and modern media channels. So I've decided to connect with people who probably don't have access to the internet, those who don't have proper information on what's going on in the state, those that don't even know what the governor is doing. You know, they are vulnerable mentally, psychologically, and all that. So what I do is basically going to vulnerable communities, preach the more agenda by telling them exactly first-hand information, what's happening in the state. And that also gives them this sense of belonging. You know, the government of Sheriff Oboiwori talks about my government is for all. And so I'm doing my part to connect with those that feel that they know nothing that's happened in the state. And while I do this, I also create empowerment. And to make it, like I always tell my friends, you cannot go preach to an hungry man and expect that person to listen to you. Yeah, so kind of, we do it to give them a sense of inclusivity in governance.
When you say people that do not have access to the government, are we looking at those that live in a particular area, maybe the riverine area or rural or urban area?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that there are more in the riverine area, but like I said recently also in the discussion, everybody in Nigeria is vulnerable in one way or the other. You understand? It all depends. Some are physically vulnerable, some are mentally vulnerable. There are people even living in big cities, they're mentally vulnerable. They've lost hope that they don't even watch TV or know what the government is doing. You know, if we have the opportunity, we'll connect with them. And that's why I said, through traditional and modern. I go online, I create activities online, you know, to bring back the interest of people to what's happening in the state. Like every Sunday on Facebook, there's something I do called Delta Pray Day, hashtag Delta Pray Day, where Deltans, I post the governor's pictures and the Deltas will come and pray for His Excellency to succeed in his more agenda. And when you do that, you get a top-up airtime, you know. And I've been doing that for a while, and I can see the fact that people are now willing to know what's happening. You understand? Knowing the fact that when you come out on Sunday, when you pray for His Excellency, you get airtime. Before you know it, you see people starting to follow up on my activities, want to see what the government is doing. That is what I'm doing online.
Restricted online alone?
For Delta Pray Day, yes, online.
Okay. Do you have any plan moving it, outside online, making it...
No, the truth of the matter, most of the persons online, I don't know them physically.
Oh.
Now, the one I do offline is, for instance, let me quickly talk about my last movement to the internally displaced persons of Okoma community. There's this IDP camp set up by His Excellency at Ewu community, Ugeli South. I and my team went there to also preach the more agenda, and we created empowerment for them. How? Aside from the fact that we went there with foodstuffs and other things, reading materials for the children, a colleague of mine who supports me so much, talking about Osiobe, he is a webmaster at Delta State, SSA Media as well. He was able to create an avenue for the children to be tutored twice a week, to brush them up, awaiting when His Excellency will be done with building of the school for these persons, you understand? That is one. So we were able to connect with the kids and give them empowerment, educational materials, and then they'll be tutored weekly. Now, for the youth and women, I was able to bring them a skill acquisition. Now, as I speak to you now, people of that ITP camp, they are learning how to make soap, tie gele, makeup, and all that. That is empowerment. Yes, right there in the camp. That's an empowerment. I also use the opportunity. That's why I said it's both psychological. I was able to encourage the children that one of them will be the Osime of tomorrow. I went there with football. I played with them so they could focus on that as well. See, these things matters.
Okay.
You understand? And when I do things like this, people must understand that it is not only empowerment. Keying into the more agenda of excellency that talks about one, opportunity for all, and enhancing peace and security. Because if you're comfortable and you don't feel abandoned, there will be no real reason to pick up arms. So I'm enhancing peace and security, keying into the more agenda of our amiable governor.
Okay. That's killing two birds with a stone.
You understand? Yeah.
All right.
So what has been the impact of all of these activities, you've been doing with those people in rural or rather hard to reach areas?
Yeah.
That's my concentration, not even the urban areas now. My concentration is the rural areas. Now, when you carry out all the sensitization visits and all of that, what has been the impact you've recorded so far? Has there been any positive change? Has there been a stagnant change? So how has it been so far in terms of impact?
Beautiful. Now, there's this thing I do. If I give you an assignment, ordinarily I give someone an assignment, I always want to do a follow-up. And so every community I go to, when I'm done, after a while, I revisit.
Okay.
To see if my visit has been impactful, in any way. And honestly speaking, I am really, really happy that my visit has not been in vain. Now, don't forget I mentioned one thing, which is very important. Giving people hope. Let me tell you something. A man without hope can do anything. Can be influenced. And such people are prone to misinformation and political blackmail.
Yes.
And so, once I'm able to avoid that by giving them first-hand information of the government activities, the governor's activities. Now, when they see that I've done that and I give them empowerment, in fact, I speak to my numbers everywhere. The kind of calls I receive from communities, not just the communities I visited, because they also tell other communities that Ambassador SA came over and did this and all that. I've been receiving calls and SMSs and messages and all that. You understand?
So in terms of impact now, you're trying to say that you've been able to track the impact you have on these communities via feedback.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right. While you were talking about the projects that you have been embarking on, you made mention of just one name. What about other persons? Do you get financial support, moral support from maybe government parastatals, groups, individuals, or is just a one-man standing?
To be very honest with you, I'm even very careful trying to bring a lot of persons to my space because I know my intentions are clean and pure. So I have to be very, very careful. Some persons might not have the way. Some people's intention might just be political. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And this is not just about politics. This is about reaching out to my brothers and sisters that are Deltas, irrespective of your tribe. Now, anyways, I have one or two persons who have been very helpful morally and also financially. If you allow me, I'm ready to call their names because they've been doing great. And I won't lie to you, the son of His Excellency, I'm talking about Fred Oboiwori. My God, he has been so helpful. I think is one of the persons that has really given me the courage to do what I'm doing as an individual. He has been supportive financially and otherwise. And there are other persons too in government, like the Commissioner for Health, Commissioner for Transport, the Secretary to the State Government, and some other businessmen and women who are ready. Now, the truth is this, everybody is afraid because, to be honest with you, everybody sees everybody as scam. And so you must be able to prove yourself. Let your antecedents speak for you. And trust me, people will want to align with you. And so for me, I don't mind the stress I go through sometimes to pull out these outings and outreaches. But the truth of the matter, I know that in due time, people will understand that this is necessary for Delta State to be advanced, just like the governor keeps saying that he's going to advance Delta State. But now he's doing a lot of things in terms of infrastructure development and all that. But we must not forget the mental and psychological stress a lot of people go through in Delta State.
Okay, so with all you've said now, that means you have supporters, you have people that are pushing you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's one thing to get encouragement from people.
Yes.
It's another thing to just be on your own. You think
Yes.
that people are not watching.
Yeah, it can
and
be.
then
Yeah.
it can be draining sometimes. All right. So kudos.
I must say a big thank you to the Secretary to the State Government.
Okay.
I'm talking about Dr. Kingsley Emu, who actually made the Okwama IDP camp visit a reality. Yes, and yes. You see, this government, I've noticed that, aside the fact that I'm an appointee of His Excellency, once you have something to give to Delta, something that will be impactful, the government of the day is ready to support you. Are you probably aware of the DK program?
Yes, the DK.
Beautiful.
Yes.
That is also connecting vulnerable Deltans, honestly speaking, because it's connecting with farmers, petty traders, you know, those with small-scale business and all that. Some are giving grants, some are giving starter packs and all that. That is connecting with vulnerable Deltans. So the state, in fact, everything the state does is connecting with people who cannot do these things for themselves.
Okay. But sorry, I want to take you back to what you said now. You spoke about farmers. I think I saw I saw an event, or I was pitching to be in an event, or the space where an event was taking place about farmers, and I saw you there.
Okay.
I saw, I think some persons were giving crates of eggs.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So that was at the Ibiza.
Yeah, Beniza Hotel.
Yeah. So now that event, was it actually for farmers who are into poultry? Only saw eggs.
All right, let me explain to you now. Now, some time ago, His Excellency also gave out palliatives and maize and other things to farmers. You know, now the Association of Poultry in Nigeria also benefited from this.
Great.
And now they decided, you know, the chairman decided to give back to the society from the produce. You understand?
Yeah.
And he decided to give this to all orphanage homes in Delta State. So those eggs you see, 600 crates of egg. You and I know how expensive egg is right now.
Yeah.
600 crates of egg. So I was there, and the SSG was presented there as well, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information was there as well. So we're there to grace the occasion and also encourage them. And like I said that day, because I held a mic, and I said, other farmers should emulate what this association is doing, so that when the government gives to you, you should also give
back. That's true.
All right.
Okay.
So when you talk about vulnerability, or you talk about this particular set of people called the vulnerable, it cuts across those in the rural area and those in the urban area. You can find from, you know, the farm to the office. You know, we all deal with vulnerability in one way or the other. So now this is my question. Now you're carrying out a project tagged Connecting with Vulnerable Deltans through traditional and modern media channels. Now you've experienced some difficulties. Now can you discuss briefly about them and tell us how you've been able to surmount these challenges? Because there are lots of people that would never admit that they are vulnerable. You know, they tell you that as long as I'm doing well, as long as I have my paycheck, as long as I can pay my bills, I am good, I am not vulnerable. Forgetting that we have mental vulnerability, we have emotional vulnerability, and vulnerability in different aspects. So have you been able to, you know, deal with such people that do not even want to admit that they're dealing with one vulnerability or the other?
Now, firstly, when you set out to solve problems, you must also know that there's going to be a, should I say, kickback or something, a situation where, okay, now, even when I travel, I meet a lot of vulnerable persons in a car. Now, talking about mental vulnerability, and most of them have lost on the system that all they do or they think about is the negative side of the government. And so I try to do what I do best, which is pushing the MOA agenda, which is my media representation, because media is not only on television or Facebook. And now when I do that, what I get sometimes can be very discouraging. Because like I said, they've lost hope. And so you can see them looking so rich and all that. Maybe they are businessmen and all that. Even some civil servants. They just work, but they don't have faith in the system. And the truth of the matter is this: if we want serious productivity from Deltans, you know, we must be able to give them a reason to understand that the government of Shehu Buhari is indeed the government for all. And so when I get this, when I talk to them, you can see the passion in me when I try to explain to them the reasons why they have to understand the disadvantage of misinformation and political blackmail. Sometimes in a car, an information in a car can create problem in a country or a state. And so my job is to mitigate that. Now, another challenge I've been getting is financial. To be honest with you, there are times that, okay, like right now, sorry to deviate a little. Okay. I'm in a partnership with a lady called Dr. Agatha Diden, the wife of Michael Diden. She's a doctor, and we just came together recently. She's a part of my project right now because I'm planning on doing medical outreach to the entire state, the 3 central districts, for those men and women who cannot read. I'm going to be giving them reading glasses, and we're going to do eye test. Not just that, we're going to be going to secondary schools and primary schools because some kids already have eye problems they are not aware of. So we're going to be doing screening for them. Now, she is in partnership with me. But the truth of the matter is this: you need more. I need more people like her for the entire plan and purpose of this project to be realized. So sometimes I get these challenges. I want to do more, but I'm restricted to what is within within myself. So that's it.
So it's part of the challenges you
Yes.
just discussed about.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the next question. So, what is the next project you're planning now concerning this ongoing sensitization tour? Because in all of these things you've said, you know, it's got to do with human interaction,
Beautiful.
correcting perceived misconceptions,
Yes.
and in all of this, one thing is imminent, which is the aspect of sensitizing people on the importance of the More agenda
Beautiful.
and the real intent of the More agenda. So, what's the next project you're planning concerning your ongoing sensitization tour on the More agenda?
Now, one of which I just mentioned, talking about this time around, like I said, I'm going to be doing medical outreach. Because the truth of the matter is that you might think it is cheap to get a reading glass. Trust me, it's not cheap for many persons in Delta State, in fact in Nigeria. And so I'm going to be giving out glasses to over 500 persons. Over 500 persons, both the old and the young. That is one. And two, I'm making plans. I'm not supposed to let the bag out on this, but there are non-indigenes of Delta State who reside here and cast their vote here. And so we should also care for them, because they live among us. So the association of, there's a name they call them, I think non-indigene something and all that. I don't care if you're a Muslim or whatever you are. These persons also need this outreach. And so they are also my targeted audience in my next, moving forward on this project. So aside the medical outreach, because like, see, let me tell you something. You know, we talk about, people joke with psychological and mental problem.
Yes.
Trust me, it is a serious thing.
Yes.
And so while I preach the More agenda, I have doctors who are going to, see, what I'm doing is, it's got across all areas. It all depends on what is available to me at the particular time.
Sure.
And I'll decide on where and where to go. Like I've told anybody, if you have a government presence, please contact me. Contact me via Facebook, and I'll send my people to come see. And we'll go there because I also want to go to communities that lack government presence. You understand? Because for me to give them hope and sense of belonging in the system, the government must come. And so when I go there, it's like I'm representing the governor because I'm a senior special assistant to the governor on media. And I know the intention of His Excellency is pure. But the governor cannot do everything on his own. All hands must be on deck, and everybody must play their role.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So, sorry, before you land, you also talked about a prayer you do via Facebook. You just dropped a hint. I want you to kind of elaborate more on
All
it.
right.
Yes.
All right. You know, The governor of Delta State is a God-fearing man. That I know, and a lot of people know already. Talking about the governor who is also an usher in church. Yeah, even as a governor. And he believes that everything that's happening right now is all on God. It's all God's work. And so I'm encouraging people. I'm giving reasons why I came up with that. Delta Pray Day. Hashtag Delta Pray Day. Now, we need people, Deltans, to pray for the governor of Delta State to succeed in advancing Delta State through his more agenda. 1. 2, the man needs to be in good health to deliver on his promises.
Yeah.
Deltans must come together and pray. 3, I am using that also to bring people online together to understand what's happening in the state. Because the truth of the matter, when you come on my page, now you pray for him, I give you airtime. You must be tempted to scroll down to see what's happening, and then you start seeing government's activities. You understand? So a lot of persons who don't, some people when it comes to anything government, I beg, who's the word for me? But because of the things I do right now, people are getting interested. They want to know what's happening.
Don't you think that some persons will just be on that page just to get the airtime and then they zoom away?
Trust me.
How do you monitor them?
You cannot get 100% result.
So how do you correct,
that's true.
in tandem, as a follow-up of the question she just asked, how do you correct the notion of people that see this as a bribe, a form of, I pray for the governor and I get airtime in return?
All right, now, you see, there are some people who are born, I'm sorry to use the word, but they are naturally negative.
Okay.
Trust me, even when you smile at them, they'll tell you you're smiling at them because you want something. No matter what you do. So no matter what the governor has been doing, some people are still saying that he has not done enough.
Yeah.
So we know there are places like that. Trust me, instead of me dwelling too much time convincing people who are naturally adamant, I rather focus on people who are ready to listen and understand.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I am using my money to give you a gift. So if you want to call it a bribe, then you're not even ready to be part of the whole thing in the first place. But the truth of the matter is this: when you're doing things like this, you must be able to also give out to both the good, the bad, and the ugly. At the end of the day, we are all Deltans. And in fact, this is even benefiting those that are not even Deltans.
Oh, yeah.
But are interested in the politics of Delta State. So this also benefiting. I'm trying to also connect with vulnerable Deltans in the diaspora because they're always online. And whenever I go do all this outreach, I put online and all that, my publicity is huge. And then Deltans abroad, they see it and be like, wow, the government is doing something beautiful. So aside meaningful reforms and all that, there's actually someone in the government who is doing these things and all that. Most of them want to come back.
Giving them a sense of belonging.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. A sense of belonging.
So what's brought about the birth of this idea? What actually gave you the insight, to put all this together, and particularly on Sundays? Why did you pick Sundays of all days?
Sundays, nobody goes to work. Go to church, right?
Nobody. Some persons
Most
go to work.
people.
Well, okay.
Most
people.
Yeah.
Thanks for the correction. Most people don't go to work. And we all know that even if you go to work, it's known that Sundays are always days to relax. We all know that. So I feel that that's the best time to, because one, online, when you make a post online, you might not be there the next 1 hour and that post has gone down and you will not see it. But on Sundays, it is very easy, especially when now everyone is now aware that every Sunday, wow, there's Fridays on Chicken on Facebook from Ambassador Essay. You understand? Now, I don't have to inform you. Even if you're at work, you pick your phone when you're free time, your lunchtime, and you try to check my page. But guess what? The reasons I gave you for doing it, I'm doing it for those 4 reasons. I won't lie to you. His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, I was born with a silver spoon, and at some point I lost that spoon. And the Governor of Delta State gave me an identity. All right? And I feel that the only way to tell people my story is to do what I'm doing. Everything I do has so much emotional whatever attached to it. Trust me. And I'm doing it to let people know that this government, what I'm doing, if others can do the same thing, trust me, the governor, Right Honorable Elder Sheikh Francis Arokodoboye, we will not even have stress, because, like I said, it can't be everywhere. It cannot do everything.
It seems he actually picked the right persons to to give this position, the SA media, SSA or new media? Because I know someone in Warri also, this same thing you're doing, close to rather, is exactly the same thing that she has been doing. I think everybody in that field, media, they're actually singing the glorious song of the governor.
Who wouldn't? Excuse me.
Sorry.
To be very honest with you, the governor himself is making the job easy for us.
How?
I swear to God. Now, I don't have to tell you the governor is building bridges or flyovers because you're seeing them. I don't have to tell you that the governor is taking seriously social investment programs. These things are visible.
The results are just there, speaking for themselves, yeah?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, or thereabout, because of this DCARES program, social investment program, a lot of persons got an alert. In one of my programs, I said, data said alert is just a cry. Now, the alert is not for you to go and buy stew, for you to put in your business. The governor understands that while I'm working, people also need to do businesses to fend for themselves. And so he has given them money, grants, let me use the word grants, to start up their businesses, to put back in their business because of the COVID-19 stuff and all that. He understands. Not just that. Look at startup parks like for baking machines and all that. Give it to lots of persons. Hundreds of thousands of people are benefiting from all this.
That's true.
And so you don't need me. But like I said, I'm using an opportunity on TV right now to say this. If you are a beneficiary of the government program, any program, please tell the next person. Because people need to know. When someone is doing something good, please spread the good news.
Yeah.
Some people will benefit and keep quiet.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's wrong.
Okay.
It's wrong.
So, as regarding this project that is ongoing, the vulnerable, connecting with vulnerable Deltans through traditional and modern means channel, how has it been? Your team, I know you have a team, you definitely cannot be working alone. So how has the support been? What would you say about the project?
Well, for my team, the support has been awesome.
Okay.
I have, and most of my team members are also appointees of the government. And cut across all portfolios. I have a team member from media, community development, mass mobilization, special duties. They're all with me, because they also have the same, how do I put it now, the same vision. You understand? So it's very easy for them to work with me. And we're doing, honestly speaking, we're doing great. And I'm so appreciative of their efforts. Yeah, they've been very helpful. Use this opportunity to thank the Delta State Webmaster, Mr. Siobi. He has been doing great in terms of, aside the fact that he's the Delta State Webmaster, he has also assisted me in terms of finance and even ideas. Because I am open to ideas. I tell you, if you know there's a beautiful idea that we can connect with anybody, please come to me. There are some persons privately who are also on school fee scholarship under my program. It just started. And so my dream is not, after some time, it's going to be vulnerable Africans. And after some time, it's going to be what?
Vulnerable countries.
Yeah, because what I'm doing is not political.
Yeah, okay.
Not political. Even after the government of Right Honorable Sheriff Oboyore, it continues.
Okay. You're looking ahead.
Exactly.
So sorry about that.
Thank you.
All right. So please, before we let you go, your final advice to Deltans concerning this project and also the more agenda.
All right. First, I want to say continue to pray for His Excellency and understand that everything will work out fine. Just give him time. And you can see he's doing his best. And don't give room for misinformation and political blackmail. You understand? We all know that the governor is doing his best to advance the state, and he's going to do more because he has promised more. And also, for those communities who would love for I and my team to visit, you can go on my Facebook page and send me a DM. SA Joshua Emadife. You can send me a DM and explain to me why you want us to visit you. And we'll do the necessary thing and do a survey. And if you pass, then we'll visit your community and also give you empowerment.
Thank you so much, and kudos on the good work that you have been doing, and we urge you to continue. Do not relent, don't stop. The Lord is your strength.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we've been speaking to Ambassador S.A. Joshua Emadife, popularly known as Chief Sir Dante, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Delta State on Media, and also the DG of an ongoing project tagged Connecting with Vulnerable Deltans through Traditional and Modern Media Channels. You have heard a lot about that project from him. It's a good thing that the door is still open. If you want your community to be visited, you know where to reach him. If you cannot reach him, you can also reach us here on DBS, and then we'll get you across to him. And that's where we drop it off on Thursday's edition, Morning Ride, from my co-presenter.
Look after yourself. It's when you take care of yourself that you'll be able to look after others. Be kind. It doesn't take anything from your bank account, and you never know, the love you give today will be the love you may end up receiving from the person you gave today tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much, Perpetua Iboba. And from me, I would say nothing catches a man like respect, soft words, nice approach, and submissiveness. Apply this in your day-to-day activity and enjoy life to its fullest. On behalf of our supervising producer, Limbofa Ozibo, and also our producer, Vivian Nkechika, and the crew making up Thursday's edition Morning Ride, we'll say thank you so much for riding with us. My name is Lilibeth Ugochukwu. Have a beautiful Thursday. Bye.
It is a man or a woman's cultural heritage that defines him, that tells us something about his